Hey all, Double 18 Set Shadow here. There's a lot going on for this week with the sneak preview of Divine Set 1 Fated Clash coming, and this weekend we also had the release of the new trial decks that bring the new energy generator concept to Vanguard. So today we're going to talk about the energy generator. As you can see from the front of this page here, market price is around $10 everywhere, and the energy generator is now completely out of stock on the market, which is no surprise given that it was not very likely that this deck was going to get cracked open that much in the first place, and they're mostly just going to be sold as individual units. Remember that the majority of the cards that are available in the deck don't have any net worth themselves because most of them are just vanilla. The only units with effects in these decks are the Sentinels as well as the main grade 3 boss units of each deck. The only other value you get out of it are the gacha rolls where you can pick up a specific trigger from your clan, from your nation, one of the effect triggers, as well as a chance to pick up a buffed up Sentinel, like the typical one that we use in the formats, or you can get an Elementaria Sanctum, which is a lower chance, but is possible. So most of the value of these decks come out of the energy generator, and the rest of it is effectively whatever else you get out of it. Because if you don't pull an Elementaria, the deck's value is not going to be that high. The generator itself being 10, while the deck's selling for a range of 15 to 25, it really depends on how much you were able to buy the decks for. One thing I am curious about, because I did buy a few of these decks myself, and when I opened them all up, unfortunately I didn't pull an Elementaria, but the funny thing is, every single deck I pulled had a draw trigger in it. And I got 2 Lyrical, 1 Brancate, and 1 Dragon Empire. So I'm curious as to what people have been pulling out of their decks. Because I just find it really strange how I was able to go through 4 decks and only pull draw triggers. So yeah, I'll also note that the draw triggers are still not available on TCG Player. Neither is the Elementaria Sanctum, unless... let me check here. For Stoichia as an example, the deck is here, the singles are all here, but there are no listings whatsoever of Sanctitude or the new draw triggers. So, yeah, it's going to be a bit of time before TCG Player puts those up, I suppose. We'll have to see when that happens. Next up is going to be Prescription Angel, which has a lot of listings back on the market after its initial buyout. As you can see, the price has more or less stabilized at the $2 mark right now, and it's still selling as of the past few days. Lots of quantities have become available, and it's no longer just chump change. Although thankfully, it's not too expensive in comparison to the ad that was put out in Japan. I don't remember which store it was, but this is significantly cheaper than that, and I can't imagine this will go up much higher. Now, something that did sell out is One Night Witch Strega, the triple rare, which now has no listings on the market, and latest listings sold were ranging from, 25 to 30, with a lot of more recent ones at 28. So you're going to have to shop around if you need to find this card. There are also options in the FFR as well as the LSR, but even if we take a look at those... okay, now it's saying there's one at 35. Okay. FFR is now $50 base, and if you want the LSR, that's also increased to $152 right now. So prices are going up on this card, and they're only likely to keep going up. Fennel is our next card, where we're just going to go over the triple rare for this one. 12 listings overall. You can see the low at 49 cents, but it's been creeping upward in terms of its overall graph, and you can see that those who are buying this card, if they buy them in play sets, they usually have to buy them for around $3 now, as most of the listings that are cheap only have 1 or 2 copies available, and then the card rises up even further, or we just have a big shipping tag associated with the lower prices. Fennel is getting more popular these days, so if you were intending on playing the deck, it's a good idea to grab it now, as it does look like it's moving on upward. Drul Ignis has been seeing some movement too in competitive play these days, but ultimately the price is still not way too high. 23 listings overall and a market price of $7.78. You can still pick up a lot of copies around the $8 mark, and there are still lots of quantities available on the low end here, so it's still pretty good to pick it up. Rosaria Fair also got a few listings back on the market, 5 overall, which is not much, but it's something after it got bought out a while ago. The card has been selling for 13 to... It sold for 25 at one point too, so... Current listings all only have 1 copy available. It's ranging from 13 all the way to 18, so... This is another shot to pick it up. It looks like Leonorn is still getting some good buff with just the energy generator. Elementaria Sanctum itself, as mentioned, there are no listings right now on the reprint that comes out of these new trial decks. So right now, when we take a look at quantities, there are a good amount on the market between the regular version. You have 16 listings on one of the promos versus 8 listings on the trial deck for Opus. And then the full art, now these prices actually are starting to make sense, where the full art Elementaria is now the highest at 35, while the other 2 are around 24, 25 base price, and the market prices also reflect for that. There are no copies of the World Final version on the market right now, where the market price is 401. We're never going to see that many that go up here, though. Clear Shimmer Aura. I had covered this one a little bit before, but worth covering again as the price is really starting to spike. We're now at a base of $37 between all of its copies, while the FR has dwindled down to 1 listing at $50. And between the double rare and the special reprint, we only have 14 listings available, while their market prices are just under $30 by a few dollars right now. This card is moving just as Strega is, given the amount of order play that we see from a lot of Lyrical Monasterio decks. It's no surprise. Also, just a note, if you're looking for FFR Cooling Heart Yuikas, there is a listing available, 4 copies, but they're $500 each. That's my PSA for that. Next card is Detonation Monster Bobo Mine, where this card is continuing to rise in value, and all of its copies now have a base price of $7, and then a lot of them have gotten to 10 or higher. The SP is still available at a base price of $13.43, so all the other listings are really catching up to it. So if you are looking to bling it out, do remember though that the SP of Bobo Mine is no longer the high rarity. We have the other version, the alternate art, which is significantly higher in price, so we're not covering it today regardless, but it's effectively the mid-tier. In any case, with Bobo Mine's other listings, all those double art, reprints, or originals really catching up to it, the SP is likely a good candidate to pick up at this point. Forefront Knight Tfault has really skyrocketed in value as, man, this card used to be only about $4. Now it's a pretty solid 32, and the lowest listings available at this point are 40 all the way to 60. As we get closer to Divine Clash with more decks playing this card in general, yeah, it's just really moving on up there like Strega did. Strega's sold out right now, and if things keep going like this, Tfault could be next. But Hallucinatory Morio is taking the other direction, where this card had its hype train back when Divine Clash was first announced, and the price slammed back down to earth, and the card is now back to about $2-3. But to be fair, even when it did go up, its market price only got as high as about $7. So it might have sold a bit over $10 for some time, but it was never too expensive. In any case, it's much cheaper to pick up right now if you're still looking for it for the new series coming in Divine Clash, just so you know. There's also Obssed Optius, which is the Dragon Tree Wretch that came out of set 9 for Stoichia. This one is still holding at a pretty good value, but only 6 listings available. And the market price has been only rising for the last few months, where this card has sold for as high as $15 lately, and available listings are currently from 12 all the way up to 25, but that is a very big gap between its listing prior to that, which is only 14. There are still a decent amount of quantities in the $12 to $15 range, so you don't have to buy into that 25. Avagard feels like it's just been missed out these days. I have not seen very much news about it and just wanted to cover it. Right now, we're looking at it triple rare wise for the regular. It's $735 base with a market price of $501, and the FFR is currently around $56. The market price is just over $57. And if you're looking at Richter, that one is back up in value to about $520, which is okay. And then you've got the FFR for that at about $26.50, while you've got the secret rare version. All 3 of those are from set 13. That is $129.15 right now. So, yeah, I just haven't seen that much news about it. These are the current price points of it. And Avagard, being a Brancate deck, I'm a Brancate main, so kind of have to cover it at some point. Gratius Gradale. So, just to renote, this is the Regulus piece that allows for Persona Ride without having to actually Persona Ride. Right now, it has 3 different copies available between the stand-up deck sets for Graham Grace Fauverniel, as well as the original from Minerva Rising, and all the copies are currently $14 to $15 base, and a decent amount of listings amongst all of them, a grand total of 28 overall. So it's still available, but being a Regulus piece, it does have to compete with other ones, such as Forbidal as well as Ladder. Combine Rusher, I completely missed the buyout on this one, although I had been calling that it would happen at some point. This card is now a base of $24 for the Orphis Trial Deck version, and then if you want the triple rare from set 6, it's currently a base of $39, but their market prices don't reflect this. And if we take a look at the triple rare in terms of sales, let's see. There have actually been sales as high as $20, $30, $40 on the triple rare, so it is continuing to move on upward. Thankfully, there are still these 5 listings left, but the quantities are starting to dry up. So if you still need Combine Rusher, it's almost gone. Knight of Blackness Obscured, as well as Greatsword of Fierce Black Flame Obscured. With Eva seeing a lot more play in Japan thanks to the new promo, I do want to revisit the prices of Obscured, where when we take a look at the triple drive versions, those are still pretty easy to pick up. Knight of Blackness, the grade 3, is $1.50 base, market price $174, while the grade 2 is 39 cents base with a market price of $102. The original versions are significantly higher though, $8 base for the set 5 grade 3, and for the set 8 grade 2, it's $290 base. And then when you take a look at the high rarities, the grade 2 is currently $46, while the SP of the grade 3 is about $120 right now. And to wrap up today, we're going to take a quick look at the SPs of the original Zorga ride line, starting with Rancor Chain. Rancor Chain, well, the Zorga ride line has been a pretty staple Stoichia ride line amongst various decks, with Roroa now kind of competing with it. But Rancor Chain is currently at $19 base, with a market price that has been declining over time to about $24 right now. The base listing is $19, and it has been selling for $19.50 recently. Most of the listings are available for around $23, and the quantities, There's no real consolidation on the first page, and it's pretty much all just single copies available, so no place to get them all at once. And our final card today is the SP of Black Tier Husk Dragon, which is the grade 2 of Zorga's original ride line. 11 listings overall, with $16 as the base and a market price of $15.47, which has not seen a major decline. This card has never had a really big market price, but it's sold out at some pretty good values at some point. But same with Rancor Chain, there aren't too many quantities in terms of individual listings, but most of the quantities are available at 19 or under, and then we eventually make our way to $20 when it comes to shipping cost added on too. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys later.